everybody? Hey, welcome on this Thirsty Thursday here, I should say. Easy for me to say. To this Movies Merica spoiler warning episode where I will be spoilery, very spoilery, discussing. There we go. Some people might find this movie disgusting, but I will be discussing the brand new biopic movie Reagan, starring Dennis Quaid as Ronnie Reagan. Yes, but this is your chance if you have actually seen this movie, or if you just don't care if it's spoiled whatsoever. I mean, it is a movie about a president, a well-known figure that I think we all know what happens in his life and what happened to him. So yes, not one of those movies that you really have to worry too much about spoiling, but hey, you know what? There's always that chance. But it's your chance to discuss this about me in the live chat. Talk about Reagan the movie, or just Ronald Reagan in period, or you can let me know about any movies you want to talk about, that kind of thing. The floor is yours. Okay, go crazy, go nuts. All right, but before we do that, though, I got to give you just a little bit of something to dance to.
In a world where the number of movies available is great, but many are so bad, you'll learn a new definition of hate. One man sifts and reviews through the movie sludge. One man will be the movie cop, jury, and judge. He goes by many names, but you know him by Movies Merica.
All right, so that should be your musical cue that we are almost at the weekend. So bust out your beverages. All right, so hey, I've got mine right here. I'm good to go. I am not going to have a problem staying hydrated in this very tough, taxing physically job of sitting here on my ass talking about movies. It's no job for the weak. Okay, it's something that it takes something out of a man. Okay, we've lost a lot of good men doing this job of sitting here talking about movies with everybody. But you know what? I had to step up to the plate, and we'll see if I can get away with it right there. So, and we already got some folks here in the live chat, already putting in some serious work on the Rumble side, joining us here. And good to see. I'm Sean Cav here in the live chat from the Rumble side, joining the Movies Merica spoiler warning family this Thursday night. And Agent X6, makes a good point right here about Dennis Quaid, the star of our show, of our movie tonight. Isn't Dennis Quaid a lot more conservative than most Holly weirdos? He most definitely is. He's probably not the most conservative out there. I think that the prize for that would probably go to somebody like Jon Voight, and that's the first actor that comes to mind as far as that goes. Scott Baio, I would say, but Scott Baio's not really a not really a factor in Hollywood anymore. But Jon Voight most definitely is. Jon Voight still gets legit work in movies. I mean, but that's just because he's an Academy Award winner. He's a legend. He's been in so many movies that we all love, like Midnight Cowboy, the first X-rated movie out there, Midnight Cowboy, and Transformers and Runaway Train. That's one of my personal favorite Jon Voight movies. Runaway Train is a movie that surprisingly not a lot of people have seen, but it's a great movie. And it's directed by the same guy who did Tango and Cash, so it's got to be good, right? And then of course he was in Heat, and was the piece of shit, Dad and Ray Donovan, all that good stuff right there. That's a good point there. Kurt Russell is another guy that while he doesn't come out, wearing his Mitch McConnell T-shirt, that would be really bad, or his Trump T-shirts or anything like that. He's Kurt Russell. I think of him more as he's just a good old common sense kind of guy. And if you got a lot of common sense rolling around up in your noggin, you're most likely going to be conservative. Okay, if your head is in the clouds, if you're like a very, if you're like a big bubblehead, then most likely you're going to be, a Democrat. You're thinking more emotionally as opposed to, with this right here. So, all right. So, yeah, real quick here, just in case you may have noticed or may not even notice and maybe not care, but I had to throw the glasses on for this episode. I was getting sick of my eyes getting dried out every episode right there. So I'm sure you guys were getting sick of watching me dig my fingers into my eyeballs trying to fix those right there. But hey, we got Will here in the chat there. Good to see you here in the chat there. WBA 57420, which sounds like a prison number right there, but I'm sure that's not what that is. So, but welcome to the show, and hopefully you're ready to talk some Reagan, or at least just listen on in. But before I start yapping about Reagan here, let me take a tug off my chosen beverage of the evening. Oh yeah, there you go. So I had to spend all day long talking, and now I'm talking here. So it does take a toll. So I got to do what I got to do right there. And real quick, before I get into it, live chat, that option is out there. Obviously, as you see, I've been putting up live chats from various folks from Rumble, and also you can live chat on Pilled and on YouTube as well. So, all right, let's get right into some Reagan, because that's what you guys are here for. So now I did hear that Reagan had a budget of anywhere from 25 to 30 million. So quite frankly, it was handicapped with a much lower budget than a movie about a figure as iconic as Ronald Reagan really should have got. I mean, this guy was a household name, or is a household name now. I mean, when you say Donald Trump is the most famous, or one of the most famous people in the world right now. Well, Ronald Reagan, while he was still with us, he was as well. He was an icon. People just, you ask somebody, hey, name the first president that comes to mind, and Ronald Reagan, for a lot of people, would just be the first president that came to mind. He got a full 8 years. He did 2 terms as a president. He was a Hollywood actor for a long time. Before that, he was the governor of California. So somebody that became that big a figure in the world deserves a movie that has a budget more than 25 to 30 million. But because the enemies that he made happened to include Hollywood and the people that control the purse strings for movies and whatnot, then yeah, unfortunately his movie got handicapped with this 25 to 30 million. Now, if he had been like some communist president or something like that, where he's like this borderline communist president, I'm sure Sony Pictures, Paramount, Universal, 20th Century Studios, they'd be throwing money left and right. 300 million? 300 million? Will that do it? 400 million? 500 million? You sure you don't want $1 billion for your communist president biopic right there? You sure? But because Ronald Reagan was a conservative, and he did go up against Hollywood, we're like, yeah, now, time out, guys, time out. No big money for you. You are going to get the budget. We would get like an Aldi's movie or something like that. So like a Goodwill, Salvation Army level movie right there. So if someone wanted to do a major studio biopic about Jimmy Carter, any studio would probably throw about $100 million at it at least. Okay. Now, he's not a president unless you consider being president of the Peanut Butter and Banana Sandwich Club as a legit president. But the Elvis biopic that came out a couple of years ago, that got at least $100 million for its budget, with Austin Butler playing Elvis. Now, Reagan, of the movie we're actually talking about tonight, it's made about $11.5 million so far, and that's all domestic, okay? And it doesn't look like it's been released anywhere internationally, and I'm guessing that's because they think no one in Indonesia is going to be scurrying to the theater to watch a movie about an American president. I'm sure, no one in Brussels, or Ukraine is going to be, just going to be, hopping off their couch and jumping in the car and speeding to the theater to see a movie about a American president that's been dead for like 24 years. Okay, not gonna happen there, so not gonna do it. And Agent X6 here, 20 mil is next to nothing in modern movie making. Yeah, exactly. I mean, thanks to Hollywood unions, you can't make a movie, a decent movie, or a movie as good as you would want it. You're going to be doing a lot of penny pinching. You're going to be doing a lot of wheeling and dealing there. That's why, Godzilla -1. When you watch that movie, it looks so good, but they only spent $15 million on it. And that's because they don't have to pay the people that make the movie like these, exorbitant union prices. Okay, so they can make a great movie like that for, 15, 20 million, whatever it was right there. So, and also about Reagan. I mean, Reagan showed how astronomically different things were back in the 1980s compared to the supposedly more sophisticated times of today. I mean, if politicians, I don't know what politicians are, if politicians eating, sleeping, and breathing a life of a zero-sum game against politicians on the other side of the aisle, instead of working together to better this country is more sophisticated, I'll take the supposedly more caveman days of the 1980s. I mean, plus in the 1980s, they had parachute pants and British Knights and Thermocolor T-shirts, I mean, at MTV when MTV was actually, MTV, and, all kinds of cool stuff, right? Pop rocks. I mean, Punky Brewster. I mean, all these great things about the 80s, right? Samantha Fox. Am I right, fellas? Am I right? Right? And also we saw in this movie a Republican in Ronald Reagan and a Democrat in Tip O'Neill portrayed as they were in real life as actual friends. Can you imagine that? I mean, sure, nowadays you have Republicans and Democrats who look like they're friends, like Liz Cheney and Nancy Pelosi, but it's really more of a Republican useful idiot and their Democrat master sort of relationship, okay? Liz Cheney is not really a friend of Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi pretty much just runs Liz Cheney, and Liz Cheney's like, please, I'll do whatever you want me to do. I hate Donald Trump so much, okay? So, pretty much the Democrats yell, jump, and the Republican asks, how high, and can you get me a job on CNN? That's not the same thing as what Reagan and O'Neill had back in the 80s. And that's why seeing their relationship in Reagan was really just weird. It was just surreal. Imagine this. Put your imagination hat on and just imagine in real life if after Trump's assassination attempt, he, kind of like wiped, the sleepy seeds out of his eyes and looking up and, you hear the heart monitor in the background, beep, 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 beep. And he woke up and he looks up and all of a sudden it's Nancy Pelosi. Whoa, Nancy. And she's standing there. Nancy Pelosi's standing there holding Trump's hand, and honestly wishing him well. And Nancy's quoting scripture with him. I mean, can you imagine that? I mean, there's a scene like that between Ronald Reagan and Tip O'Neill in this, but those days are long gone, everybody. Long, long gone. And, I'm Sean K. Brings back a good point, a worthy request. Bring back neon windbreakers. Yeah, am I right? Am I right there? Absolutely. And the 80s were great. Got the first Nintendo system back then. Now we have Biden and Kamala there. Yeah, I love it. I love it. And a great movie to watch to see the 80s is, anybody see Tetris? That's a great movie to watch if you just want to see the heydays of the 80s and and the Russians and all that stuff. I mean, it's a great movie, obviously. Or you can just watch a movie from the 80s. I mean, you watch Weird Science or 16 Candles or any plethora of movies from the 80s that show how people dressed back then. It's a whole look. Watch Tron, some movie from the 80s. It's just hilarious. Okay, so all right, if you want some awesome mullet representation from the 80s. Watch Tango and Cash, and check out Gabriel Cash, played by the aforementioned Kurt Russell in that right there. Ghostbusters, yeah, another one. Ghostbusters, that's another great movie where we'll look at them and be like, that's how they dressed in the 80s. Look at that right there. It's hilarious. But it reminds you that how much better original Ghostbusters was than any of the Ghostbusters that have come out recently. And Ghostbusters from back in 1984 just had that I don't give a shit attitude. It just had that harder edge to the comedy, that that biting wit. And Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis wrote that. And when you look at Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis, they don't come off as like these kind of hard edge funny guys, right? They kind of come off as nerds and stuff, Well, Harold Ramis when he was still with us, and they wrote the hilarious screenplay to Ghostbusters out there. Bill Murray had nothing to do with the screenplay, although he did quip his way through that movie. He did ad lib a lot of stuff right there. And hey, we got I'm Sean Cav with a Rumble rant for $10 right there. It says love the movie Tetris. Got to roll out and get the kids moving. All right, yes, yeah, appreciate the well. She says have a great stream, buddy. Right there. So, and yeah, that deserves a drink. I appreciate the 10 clams right there. Have a good time with the kiddos there, and yes, have a great weekend there, my friend. And hopefully, I can. Everybody, check out his show, Sipping with Sean. I'm assuming there's a Sipping with Sean X space tomorrow. That it comes on 4:30 Central, so that's my time. So do some calculations and figure out like when that will come on for you. But you could go to I'm Sean Cav, and look up that page on X and get access to his X space. There, Sipping with Sean X space tomorrow. So on Friday at 4:30 p.m. Central. All right. So, but $10 super chat there. Let me redo that. A Rumble rant. All right. I don't want to disrespect Rumble. Come on. All right. I'm going to take a little tug off this. And I don't want to hog all the booze. All right. If anybody else is out there drinking right now, if you're boozing it up or just sipping like me, go ahead and definitely do that right there. And let's get this up here. Tomorrow, X, 5:30 p.m. Eastern time, because he's Eastern time. And Pudge is joining. Hope to see you guys there. Check it out right there. So absolutely. All right, so let's do this here real quick and switch things up here, because I want to tell you guys about this cool thing that you should check out here. And that cool thing is the tdpn.locals.com website right up there. And you may be asking yourself, like, Van, what is that? Well, the tdpn.locals.com website, what that is it's the website where I have all our great content, like videos and blogs and articles, all the things about like movies and entertainment and politics, cocktail recipes, hot button, sizzling topics of the day. Okay, so all the stuff that people are talking about, but formatted and presented to you in a way that you won't see anywhere else. Damn right. Absolutely. So, go ahead and check all that out right there. And right now, as you see down there at the bottom, if you put in promo code TDPN, you are going to get 1 month free membership to that website. Free. And last time I checked, free is good, right? Free is very, very good. And then after that, it's just a measly little pissant little $3, like three. See, I still have to count with my fingers. 1, 2, 3, $3. Or you know, 1, 2, 3, $3. I love to count. Yeah, if you guys want to harken back to Sesame Street. And $3 minimum. And that'll keep you in the driver's seat, having full VIP access to tdpn.locals.com. That way you can brag, to all the hot ladies. Maybe you're still, single, and you're scoping out the scenery, you're scoping out the chicks, at the nightclub. You hear it, and you're looking for that line that's gonna get all the ladies all impressed with it, and you can just go up there, hey babe, how you doing? Yeah, hey, by the way, I'm a member of TDPN.locals.com. And she's gonna be like, ooh, wow, take me to bed or lose me to forever. Oh my God. And you're gonna be quoting Top Gun, like, show me the way, honey. There you go. Because you're gonna have her so impressed because you're a VIP member of TDPN.locals.com. Okay, so don't hesitate. All right. Don't let some other dude who's already a member of TDPN.locals.com get that hot babe before you get her. So do it. Get it done. All right. Fellas, go to work. All right. Gots to do that right there. All right.
You are a retard.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Okay, and also real quick here, just to remind you, hit that like button there if you would. Okay, if you're watching this live or you're watching the recording of it, hit that like button right on down there. Okay, it's calling to you. It's like, please click on me, please. All right, please. I'm so clickable. Click me, all right. So click that like button, all right. And then if you haven't already, go ahead and hit the subscribe or follow button. Again, that's only if you haven't already. And then also right next to that subscribe or follow button, I'm betting dollars and donuts. There's a notification bell button there as well. And if you click on that, that is going to notify you whenever there's a piping hot, fresh new episode of Movies Merica waiting for you to watch it. Okay. And then also, hey, if you're watching this later on, if you're not watching this live, I'd still love to hear from you. Although I can't hear from you in the live chat because the episode is over, okay? But if you're watching this later on, first off, how you doing? Thanks for watching. Recommend this to a friend or family. Thanks a lot. But also, get in the comments down below if you would, all right? I'd love to hear from you in the comments there. Let me know, if you think I'm doing something wrong, if you think I'm doing something right. Put a movie suggestion, something that you want me to review in there. Just make sure it's a movie that, more than 5 people are going to want to see a review for, okay? I'm not going to do a review for, Fan Belt, the motion picture, okay? Can you imagine how terrible that movie would be? Fan Belt, the motion picture. Yes, there you go. And Agent X6, I would be remiss if I ignored Agent X6 there in the Pilled live chat. And he's got Rob Schneider in there from the Waterboy going, you can do it. Yes, there we go. Yeah, he's putting up some good stickers. That's one of the perks, actually, of getting in the live chat on pilled.net is you can choose stickers out there, which I call GIFs, but they call them stickers, okay, there. So check that out. It just makes live chat even that more fun and exciting. There you go. All right, so let's talk more about let's talk more about Reagan. Why don't we? Okay. Me and Nancy would love you to talk more about me and my movie. That would be so wonderful. There you go. So not even Jeremy Johns reviewed this. And I don't know if you guys know who Jeremy Johns is, but if you look up Jeremy Johns, his last name is spelled Jahns on YouTube. He's a prominent movie reviewer on YouTube there. And not even Jeremy Johns reviewed this. I mean, he was too scared. And that guy will typically review movies his even more cowardly fellow critics won't touch, like the Chris Stuckmans, or the Austin Butlers, or what's the other? Austin Burke. There you go. That's another one that just none of those guys were brave enough, or girls there. I mean, well, we knew Grace Randolph wasn't gonna review this, but you shouldn't even bother. Don't even waste your time on anything that Grace Randolph is actually even doing on YouTube. But if you were to check out Jeremy Johns on YouTube, there, you'd see he reviewed. He nutted up and he reviewed Sound of Freedom. But this movie was just too much for him to review. Sorry, I'm looking down at my phone because I'm turning do not disturb on. All right, I don't want all those hot ladies that I hooked up with because I told them I was a member of TDPN.locals.com. I don't want them interrupting our fun here. I'll get to them later. Okay, so yeah, so Scarlett Johansson, leave me alone. Okay, but yeah, like I said, Jeremy Jahns. I mean, he nutted up, he cowboyed up, he manned the hell up, and he reviewed Sound of Freedom. Okay, where a lot of movie reviewers, a lot of movie critics were just too scared. Okay, so but not even Jeremy Jahns would review Reagan, so he just didn't have the balls to do it. However, there was one intrepid twinkle-toed movie reviewer that took all the Reagan he could swallow and spit it up in this review. So let's just take a little look-see, why don't we?
Merica, and that means I'm mourning the 2 hours and 20 minutes of my life I spent watching this horrible movie. That's time that I'm never gonna get back, and if you add in the 15 to 20 hours it's taken to write, edit, and upload this video, that means that even from beyond the grave, Ronald Reagan is still finding a way to make the life of a gay man notably worse. But I'm getting ahead of myself. When I saw that there was going to be a movie called Reagan, I assumed it was going to be a somewhat honest, historical retelling of one of the most controversial presidents in American history. I was being optimistic, or naive, or, most accurately, stupid. Because Reagan boldly asked the question, what if we made a Marvel movie and the main character is Ronald Reagan? Well, then you would get this dog shit piece of film. Reagan, starring Dennis Quaid and
So, as you can see, he loved the movie. He loved it. Okay, he couldn't get enough right there. But let me check it. I want to see if I can find this one part that I liked earlier. I found it just hilarious.
Actual enthusiasm for this movie. And I'm just saying that because I looked at the tickets for when the movie was having its prime time. More importantly, don't go on your phone in the theater. It is my #1 pet peeve. I have literally broken up with somebody because they were on their phone. That's not what I told them. I just said, I'm not really feeling it. But that was the real reason. I am so sorry, engineer guy that I dated. Anyway, those older people and that cowboy hat guy seem to be the only people with actual enthusiasm for this movie. And I'm just saying that because I looked at the tickets for when the movie was having its primetime release on a Friday evening. Like, this should be packed if it's got enthusiasm. There was one person there, and as one of my viewers...
All right, let me do this. I'm going to fast forward this right there. So you're getting the idea. Yeah, let's do this.
It's fine. But the story of Ronald Reagan is utterly incomplete without discussing his controversies and his failures. If you're earnestly trying to make a historical biopic, you should do more than ignore. And this movie is content to do a lot of ignoring. It pretty much ignores anything that does not paint Ronald Reagan in the most saint-like of terms. This is less of a movie and more of a biblical retelling of a martyr who didn't actually exist, of the noble and Christly Ronald Reagan who died on a nuclear cross to save the country of America. Give me a break. But okay, let me break down the movie so that you, the viewer at home, can watch a better movie this weekend. Maybe go watch Borderlands. That movie is terrible, but you're still probably gonna have a better time than watching...
How about before I fast forward to this right here? I'm trying to find the real gem in here.
Much matches the Gipper to a T. It was originally supposed to come out like a decade ago, but they only found the funding necessary to start filming in 2020, in the middle of a pandemic, where even God tried unsuccessfully to stop this movie from coming out with a COVID outbreak.
So, as you can see, this movie is pissing off all the right people, okay? So, you got this gay guy on here, and, who would have thought? Some gay guy who who wears a cowboy hat wouldn't like this movie right here. So it's just just totally shocking right there. Like, who would have thought there? But I mean, and this guy looks like the chairman of the Hasselhoff Youth showing off his chest badger, doesn't he? Now he'd call it his hairway to heaven to his grinder boy toy of the evening. I mean, am I right or am I right? I mean, this ass clown that we just watched is the common factory model of a clueless clod that came off the factory floor of having shit parents or theater parents, but I'll repeat myself, then being accessorized by years of exposure to the moronic mutants on TikTok and Snapchat, while being finally buffed to a rainbow psycho circus shine by teachers and professors shit out of the communist indoctrination camps we call colleges and universities. The great thing, though, is little mommies commies like him are fun to torture with movies like Reagan right there. And as you can tell, he was a little emotional about that, but that just makes it even more fun. It just makes you want to make even more movies, like Reagan or Sound of Freedom, that kind of thing. But, the notorious HIV did sort of have a point in that this movie doesn't delve into the things that Reagan actually did get wrong. I mean, forget about what he was saying about Reagan downplaying the AIDS crisis. I mean, that would have been the big thing if, that wouldn't have been the big thing it was if all the dudes in West Hollywood and Greenwich Village could stop giving each other piggyback rides and stopping the spread, right? I mean, I'm talking about actual mistakes that Reagan made, like giving amnesty to nearly 3 million illegals, for example. I don't mind, though, because I'm well aware that Reagan wasn't perfect. I mean, no president is. I mean, I like the movie because it showed that the communism that the left is desperately trying to breathe even more life into in this country can be defeated. Okay. So, I mean, Ronald Reagan, he defeated it. I mean, the guy was, what, for all intents and purposes, what we would call an old man by the time he got into office. And he still had enough energy, still had enough initiative to take out communism right there. And so, yeah, you can definitely do it right now. I mean, Trump is the same, he still has that same charisma. He's a charismatic figure. He won't take no shit. Now, obviously, yeah, Donald Trump, he has his flaws too. I mean, there's things that Donald Trump does that drive me absolutely fucking nuts right there. Basically, let's be honest. Okay, now, in a way, he communicates things in a good way in the sense that he's very blunt. He doesn't bullshit people, but also that's because he doesn't know how to bullshit people, right? You have to have a brain-mouth filter, and Trump does not have a brain-mouth filter. So you need that to be able to bullshit people. Unfortunately, it also makes him very inarticulate, all right? But even as inarticulate as he is, he says the right things, right? Okay, and he pisses off the right people, and he makes the right people nervous, and he's unpredictable to the people that it's good to make to make feel nervous and that kind of thing. So in that regard, I like Trump for that. Okay, so I wanted to say all that just to basically let everybody know I'm not here to slob Trump's knob. If you want a show like that, go watch Benny Johnson or D-Day Cobra, someplace like that. I mean, they're slurping Trump's ball sack right now as we speak. And more power to him. The grift is strong. That's cool. All right. But all that to say is Trump is like Ronald Reagan in that he's a charismatic figure for the right cause. Okay. And I figure like that can definitely take on communism. I mean, he had Putin on the ropes when he was during his 4 years of his presidency. Well, I should say 3 years of his presidency. Let's erase that COVID year because Trump sucked donkey dick in that 4th year. But the 3 years before that, Trump fucking lit it up. He was kick-ass as a president and whatnot. But the point still stands. During those 4 years, Putin didn't make a move, okay? Russia just didn't make a move. They didn't greenlight any invasions or anything like that, okay? So Trump is like Reagan in that sense where he can rid this country of communism as much as people like Kamala and Joe Biden and Obama and George Clooney, want communism to take root here in this country right there. But we got no one is perfect, but then we might end up with Kamala. I'll take Trump. Yeah, amen to that. I will drink to that right there because I mean, in the crazy fucked up world that we live in, where the choices are Kamala or Donald Trump, obviously, yeah, I'm going to take Donald Trump right there. Okay, obviously, but let's drink to that. Oh yeah, that hits the spot right there, and oh yeah, Will, was that little flower boy born after Reagan died? I don't know. It's probably right on the cusp there, I'm thinking right there. But I just I like the reaction that the movie provoked out of him. I like, that him getting all, bent out of shape and, his, having to adjust his tampon, because that movie got under his skin. And, it's just like, if you're giving somebody shit and they're like, stop doing that. I don't like that. Well, what's that make you want to do? It makes you want to give them even more shit, right? And that's what, Mr. Hairway to Heaven with his chest badger showing there is just begging for, more America right up the ass. Wait, no, you probably would like that. So anyway. All right. So let's do this here real quick because drinking that beer just reminded me that, I've got this other segment of this show that I really like to do because it lets me drink beer. Okay. And I think you guys know what exact segment I'm talking about if you guys are regular viewers of this show. And that segment would be called Brew Review Time. All right, let me introduce you to a little Lagunitas IPA, and this comes to us out of Petaluma, California. All right, and if you want an IPA with that mega extreme citrus taste in your IPA, well, accept no substitute. All right, so just like Tom Cruise in Risky Business, that famous line from Risky Business, Porsche, accept no substitute. Well, if you want mega citrus in your IPA, accept no substitute in lieu of Lagunitas IPA right there. And this is brewed with some caramel brewed malt or some caramel malt barley. And it also has a good little bouillabaisse of hops in here that give it that tasty citrus flavor. All right. And I'm not getting any money from Lagunitas Brewing Company or anything like that. So it's just totally on the level. This is a totally on the level review, totally objective. Okay. So I just happen to like Lagunitas IPA. And it's a beer that's not hard to find. Okay. It's not like a lot of the beers that I review on here where they're not exactly ubiquitous, right? They're hard to find. But this Lagunitas IPA, you can find this pretty much everywhere. And that caramel malt barley, it does a good job of taking the twang out of those, out of that mosaic of hops that I was talking about earlier, right there. So I gotta say, in my travels, okay, in my vast life experience with some good brew, I have to say, Lagunitas IPA has paired pretty well with some good like Irish pub fare. Okay, if you go to an Irish pub, you get some good Irish pub fare like Bangers and Mash or something like that. An IPA like this washes that down so nicely right there. Absolutely. So, or some shepherd's pie or something like that at an Irish pub. So fucking good. All right. Or it's pretty good like on a hot ass beach, when you got that sun just blazing down on you, like, oh my God, and you're just sizzling in the sun. Well, help cool down a little Lagunitas IPA there. Now, this bad boy's got 6.2% alcohol by volume. It's got an IBU rating. That's International Bitterness Units for all you novices. It's got an IBU rating of 51. I mean, it's an IPA. Come on, it's going to be going to have a little bit of bitterness in there. So, there you got to do. That's what you got to do. But just in case you live out in Mayberry, with Andy Griffith, you live out in the middle of nowhere, and you can't get yourself some Lagunitas IPA, I'd go someplace like Uber Eats. Uber Eats delivers booze, or GoPuff.com or Open Bar. Open Bar is an app on your phone that you can get booze delivered to your place. Okay, and grab yourself some Lagunitas IPA. It's quite tasty. All right, and so I'm going to take it down home, taste of this Lagunitas IPA. All right, so there we go, mate. So good. It really annoys those people that go, really annoy me. So I'm really annoying myself right now. Okay, so so that has been Brew Review Time. All right, let's do some house cleaning here, some housekeeping, whatever that phrase is. I have no idea. I don't know what the hell I'm doing here. There we go. And let's check out some comments here in the live chat right there. And again, hey, get in the live chat, okay? So if you are doing what we call lurking basically means you're just watching or you're just listening. You're not getting in the live chat. Well, God bless you, sweet summer child. Come on, but grow some balls and get in the live chat. Okay, yes, and I am that asshole that's going to guilt trip you into the live chat. Okay, get in the live chat and keep my man Agent X6 and Will and some others in there. Keep them company. Just get in the live chat and go, hi. And that's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. All right. No one's asking you to, to write the Old Testament, in there and whatnot. Just say, hi, how you doing? Or, hey, did you like the Reagan movie? Okay. Or do you like 80s movies? Yeah, we were just talking about the 80s earlier. Hey, if you want to talk to them about parachute pants, I could give a fuck. All right. So, but get in the live chat. All right. So no one's going to hurt you. It's a safe place. All right. It's a safe space. Okay. Get in the live chat and mix it up with the peoples in there. It's fun. It's fun. Damn it. All right. There we go. It's almost the weekend. It's Thursday. If I can stammer that out. There we go. All right. I know it's all kinds of problems over here. It's what am I going to do? I mean, it's probably right now, I'm guessing probably what you are all saying right now after my little rant is,
I got to go tinkle.
Yes, exactly. So, well, let's talk about a little bit more Reagan. Why don't we here? I mean, I don't want to leave Reagan out there. So, but the movie, it goes over how Reagan's mom was a devout Christian and raised him as a Christian and to stand up to bullies, which is always good, right? You don't want bullies pushing you around and ruining your day and ruining your life and whatnot. And then later you saw how his church had a Russian defector as a guest. And that the Russian defector was played by an actor by the name of Elia Baskin. And Elia Baskin is one of those actors where pretty much if there's a movie that's involving Russians, he's always playing one of the Russians in that. So, but this Russian defector that his church had as a guest, told how the first thing to go in Soviet Russia were the churches. And, Ronald Reagan, he remembered that. I mean, even through his whole life. And he saw that communism was a killer of religion. And he was not going to put up with that shit. All right. I mean, if you read up on communism, you learn that they want to decimate religion and families because they want the state. Okay. They want the state to be who you depend on to get what you got from religion and your family. Okay. They want you to be a good little dependent of the state so they control you through the threat of taking what you've been indoctrinated to depend on away. Okay. They want to be able to pull your puppet strings. They want, to be able to be in a position where if you act up even a little bit, they're like, all right, we're going to take away what you've been indoctrinated, what you've allowed yourself to grow dependent on. We're going to take that away. So you better, when we say jump, you better say how high there, buddy. Okay. It's like a hardcore version of the Democrat plantation that has been created for black people in this country by white man LBJ in the 1960s. Okay. If you ever just go on YouTube or just Google what, Lyndon B. Johnson said about black people and how he was going to make sure he was going to devise something to get them to be dependent on Democrats for decades, if not eons. Okay. And just check out how he phrased that. Okay. So some evil, twisted stuff right there, but it worked. You got to give LBJ his flowers. It worked. I mean, over decades, Democrats have treated black people like hamsters in a cage that you just give little pellet treats to until they depend on that. And then they think that's all they deserve. They think that pellet treats is the only thing they deserve. And then Democrats tell black people, those evil racist Republicans over there, they want to take away your pellet treats, but keep voting for us and you'll get your pellet treats there, little hamsters. I mean, black people. Okay. Now, Reagan didn't want the extreme version or any version of that in America. He saw that's what was at the end of the communist rainbow. Okay. So when you see all these Democrats and they keep, using emotional blackmail with black people and just like those Republicans, they want to take away your rights. They want, like Biden says, they want to put you all back in chains. Democrats try to pretend like they weren't the party that created the KKK. Okay, Democrats try to pretend like they weren't the party that created Jim Crow laws. They try to pretend like they weren't the party that caused us to have a civil war. Okay, why we had to fight a war to free the slaves, because a bunch of Democrat Southern states down there and Southern legislators would not give up slavery whatsoever. Okay, they had just grown to depend on slave labor down there. They knew if they gave up their slave labor, well, then those Southern states would have to serve the Northern states, because Northern states they created themselves and made themselves industrious and successful without having to depend on slave labor. Southern states, not so much. Okay, so but people like Joe Biden try to make you forget that the Democrats were the ones that did all the racist shit, right? Okay, and now they pull a complete 180, and now they like to they like to think of themselves as the party of black people and standing up for black people's rights. Although you go into any blue city and in any prominently black area of that city, and what are they? They're slums. They're shitholes. And that's because Democrats run that city. All right. And these black people, unfortunately, after generation, they have been blackmailed, brainwashed, and to just keep voting for the D. They love the D. They just keep voting for the D. They can't get enough of the D. All right. And they just don't learn. And then, of course, finally get initiatives, like, Blexit, black exit from the Democrat plantation and whatnot. So, but Republicans, I mean, what they want for black people, and not to continue my diatribe too much, but what they want is they want to enable black people to be successful on their own, so that those rabbit pellet treats that Democrats give them is like it's like minuscule compared to how much money black people can make in the free market on their own. Okay, like, why settle for the government scraps, black people, when you can make millions of your own, or at least get in the six figures on your own, and you don't have to depend on mommy and daddy government. Okay, you can live the good life. Now, you are going to have to work a little bit, and that's not just directed at black people. That's directed at white people too. There's lazy white people, lazy Hispanics, lazy Asian. Well, there's not really lazy Asians. Asians and Indians, dots, not feathers, typically have their shit together. So that's why those two demographics are typically the most wealthy demographics in this country: Asians and Indians. Indians from India, I should say. This lecture isn't for you guys. You guys have got your shit together. You guys are tip top. It's for everybody else, including white people like me. You're gonna have to put in a little work right there. So, oh, there we go. Agent X6. On a side note, I saw that the Babylon Bee is making a movie. Apparently, it releases October 11th. I dropped a link on your XTDP chat. Hey, I'm going to have to check that out right there, because Babylon Bee, they come out with some biting wit, that is for sure. I mean, they're very dependable. In checking out my timeline on X, and Babylon Bee just putting in some killer headlines that just takes a friggin' steel-toed boot right to the balls of the communist left. That's for sure right there. Agent XX, I just have some Blue Moon Belgian White Ale. Well, there you go. You could be doing a whole lot worse there. Do you have the orange slice to go with that, or is that too cliched right there? So, but yeah, some Blue Moon Belgian White Ale, fantastic there. But where was I, everybody? Where was I? What else should we talk about right there? You know what we should do, actually, before I forget about it, and I do not want to forget about this, because this is very important to tell you guys all about. But I want to tell you guys all about one of our fantastic sponsors, and that sponsor is Flip City Magazine, y'all, okay? And Flip City Magazine is the magazine that actually takes the place of Mad Magazine and Cracked. Remember Mad Magazine and Cracked Magazine? from back in the day, you could depend on picking up a Mad magazine and checking it out and kind of flipping through the pages and like, oh my God, that's hilarious. Oh my God. Oh, Alfred E. Newman, you crazy mofo. You always coming with the comedy, all right? You can depend on Mad Magazine and Cracked, to give you a little giggle, right? Well, times have changed, y'all. And they have allowed themselves to get assimilated into the woke Borg. And they are not so much in the making you chuckle business anymore. No, my friends. They are in the teaching you how to live your life, young man. All right. You need to live your life, the woke life, young man. All right. There you go. You need to like this, and you need to like that. You need to not do this, and you need to not like doing that, and blah, 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 blah. Okay. So there you go. So who wants that, right? All right. Who wants a bunch of, uppity, nerdy comedy writers, telling you how to live your life? They don't know anything about real life, right? But have no fear. We have a worthy substitute, okay? And that is Flip City Magazine, okay? And they are going to crack you up. But permit me to let them tell you all about it themselves.
I love Flip City. It has brought new types of badassery and integrity to the print medium.
Genuinely cutting, but also funny, and obviously just chaotic and very fun.
All right, yeah. So grab yourself some Flip City Magazine there, and you've got no excuse because we're making it so easy for you, okay? We have put a Flip City link in the description down below, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, okay? And when you click on that link down there, just pick your Flip City Magazine and then put in promo code MOVIES, and you are going to get you're going to get 10% off your order of the best non-woke comic around. Okay, if I can get that out there without flubbing the line. I flubbed the line. I'm worthless. But get in there and grab yourself some Flip City Magazine. You will not be disappointed. And don't be the last person to grab yourself some Flip City Magazine. All right, that's the last thing you want, is to go to work and you see everyone like walking around flipping through Flip City, and you're the one loser without any Flip City Magazine in your hands, or you go to the family reunion and Uncle Walt and Aunt Debbie and cousin Jethro, they're flipping through their Flip City Magazine, eating the potato salad and swatting the flies away and that kind of thing. But you, not you, because you sat on your hands and didn't get yourself some Flip City Magazine. So don't be that tool. Get yourself some Flip City Magazine right there. Do it now. Okay. Let's check out. Let's make sure. I just want to make sure I don't leave out any live chats here. I want to keep everything. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy that, man, Van's all stuck up. He doesn't even look at my live chats over here. Okay. And you know what? If you do get in the content creation business like I am, and you start doing a show like this, you do get to a point where you're like, oh my God, it's too many live chats. I can't read every single one of them, unfortunately. Right there. And so it's not personal. If you put a live chat out there and I don't put it up there, if I don't read it, it's not personal. Okay. It's just, I suck at multitasking, right there. So, it does not at all mean that doesn't mean that at all. No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Hey, got a Flip City Mag up here in the live chat on the Pilled side right there. And they say, hey, that was perfect timing. There you go. Absolutely. And we got that. I missed the sticker right there with Kool-Aid. Yeah, there you go. Hey, Kool-Aid. Oh, yeah. There you go. Kool-Aid busted through the wall there. Absolutely. So, and some Kool-Aid does sound tasty right now. I just should do like the full white trash thing, like give myself some cheese curls and some Kool-Aid right there. Oh yeah. So, but after I'm done with the show, I'll just do what we all do, right? You're getting thirsty for some Kool-Aid, and what does everybody do? Hey, Kool-Aid! And next thing you know, you've got a big old Kool-Aid pitcher sized hole in your wall. So it's great. Oh yeah. There you go. So I wonder if like the Kool-Aid pitcher ever got sued by anybody for all that damage that he causes there. I don't know. Maybe serving time, in a cell next to the Hamburglar or something like that. Who knows? Right there. But welcome, Flip City Mag. Hey, and everybody, check out Flip City Mag. They have a show on Rumble. I do know they have it on Rumble. They may have it on Pilled as well. This old memory of mine, it ain't what it used to be. I can't remember. Okay, so but at least I know they're on Rumble. So look up Flip City Mag and check out that show there. Okay, so all right, let's do this here real quick. And White Lightning with Kool-Aid Mixer. Ooh, sounds scrumptious. Sounds like that would hit you right in the right spot. That is for sure. All right, we are coming down to it. My favorite segment of every episode of Movies Merica. Spoiler warning, okay? And that, of course, is the movie military moment, ladies and gentlemen. And that is where I just give myself a few minutes to pay tribute to a recipient of the Congressional Medal of Honor. And you may be asking yourself, like, what is movies and the military, like what's the connection there, Van? Like, explain this to me like I'm a child. Well, you know what? I shall. Okay. So, as you would imagine, if you are the recipient of the Congressional Medal of Honor, okay, you didn't get it for being the best private in the Army at picking his nose, or just driving around the general, or being the best letter sorter at the base post office, right? You got it for doing some hellacious shit, right? Something that would be amazing to behold. Okay, if you were there, you're mowing down some Japs with your BAR. That stands for Browning Automatic Rifle for all you civilians. Okay, BAR is like what Edward Burns' character in Saving Private Ryan carried around, the big gun. Okay, or say you're a helicopter pilot in Nam, all right, and you're flying your Huey into a hot LZ, even though the Viet Cong are inflicting heavy fire on your bird, right? And even your commanding officer's like, get that bird back here, right? That LZ, it's too hot. And you're like, screw that, man. I'm getting down there and I'm gonna unload this ammo. Those troops need it, and I'm gonna pick up the wounded. All right, I'm gonna do it. All right, and if you saw that in a movie or something like that, you'd be like, holy shit, this is something to behold. Oh my god, this is a really cool movie military moment, and that is where the connection is. Everybody, absolutely, okay, and so. What we're going to do here before I get into the movie military moment. There we go. Wow. I saw the wrong word in here and it threw me off right there. So about the movie military moment. Okay. So before we introduce the recipient of tonight's movie military moment right there, you know what? We've got a new intro to the movie military moment to debut on this episode of Movies Merica. Spoiler warning, okay? My man Ian hooked me up with this sweet, sweet movie military moment intro, okay? And we are going to debut that bitch right now. So let's get into it right there. Let's do it. Right. Wasn't that pretty sweet? That was pretty badass. All right. That was very, very sweet right there. And, every recipient of the movie Military Moment deserves their own music right there. And we are going to do that for them. So let's do it. This is the movie Military Moment. And for this movie Military Moment, our recipient of the Congressional Medal of Honor that I will pay tribute to is one First Lieutenant Ronald Eric Ray that earned his Congressional Medal of Honor fighting for us, fighting for myself and you in the Vietnam War. And let's find out more about First Lieutenant Ray, shall we? For conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity in action at the risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty, Captain Ray distinguished himself while serving as a platoon leader with Company A. When one of his ambush patrols was attacked by an estimated reinforced Viet Cong company, Captain Ray organized a reaction force and quickly moved through 2 kilometers of mountainous jungle terrain to the contact area. After breaking through the hostile lines to reach the beleaguered patrol, Captain Ray began directing the reinforcement of the site. When an enemy position pinned down 3 of his men with a heavy volume of automatic weapons fire, he silenced the emplacement with a grenade and killed 4 Viet Cong with his rifle fire. As medics were moving a casualty toward a sheltered position, they began receiving intense hostile fire. While directing suppressive fire on the enemy position, Captain Ray moved close enough to silence the enemy with a grenade. This guy's kicking serious ass. A few moments later, Captain Ray saw an enemy grenade land unnoticed near 2 of his men. Without hesitation or regard for his safety, he dove between the grenade and the men, thus shielding them from the explosion while receiving wounds in his exposed feet and legs. He immediately sustained additional wounds in his legs from an enemy machine gun, but nevertheless he silenced the emplacement with another grenade. Although suffering great pain from his wounds, Captain Ray continued to direct his men, providing the outstanding courage and leadership they vitally needed, and prevented their annihilation by successfully leading them from their surrender position. Only after assuring that his platoon was no longer in immediate danger did he allow himself to be evacuated for medical treatment. By his gallantry at the risk of his life in the highest traditions of the military service, Captain Ray has reflected great credit upon himself, his unit, and the U.S. Army. And we salute you, First Lieutenant Ronald Eric Ray, in this movie Military Moment. Yes, absolutely. And it's my pleasure to pay tribute to a hero just like First Lieutenant Ray right there. Absolutely. And we've got to wrap this up. So that has been the movie Military Moment. Man, I guess my patriotic dick hard. Oh, yeah. I mean, did that come out loud? I'm sorry. I didn't mean that to come out loud. I did not. That was, what am I saying here? Oh, my God.
That's the coolest fucking story I've ever heard in my entire life. That's insane. Can I hear it again?
So, yeah, the movie Military Moment there, you don't have to wait for the movie Military Moment to see those recipients. You can go to, it's a cmohs.org/recipients. CM as in Congressional Medal, O as in of. Let's try it again. cmohs.org/recipients. There you go. I'll just put it that way. There we go. All right, there we go. All right, there you go. Okay, so good for you. Okay. Hey, we've got Lindy Rig 87 joining the show right there, Agent X6. It looks awesome right there, yes. And I can only assume that Lindy Rig 87, having the good taste that you have, was talking about that sweet, sweet movie Military Moment intro right there. You know what? It's so sweet. You know what? I just got to play it again. It's just, so good. there we go. Oh, I love it. I love it. There you go. So it's like, that pisses off a commie. Any intro like that is going to piss off a commie, and I love it. I love it. Absolutely. So, all right, let me just take a minute or two or three to just remind you that, hey, if you happen to be appreciating what I'm doing enough to throw some money my way, hey, by all means, go ahead and do that. Far be it from me to dissuade you from busting out your wallet, okay, or whatever, and or busting out your bank account, I should say, and throwing a few bucks my way in appreciation, okay, and allow me to tell you a few ways you can do that, okay. So if you're checking me out on the Rumble side, you can give me what's called a Rumble rant, and how you do that is down by where you type in your live chat message. There is a button with a $sign on that. And when you click on that, it'll ask you how much you want to donate, and that's it. Very, very easy, okay? Very easy. Like Lindsey Graham on Grindr, very easy, okay? Or if you're checking me out on YouTube, you can give me what's called a super chat. And how you do that is, again, down by where you type in your live chat. You click on the button that has a dollar bill on it, and again, it'll ask you how much you want to donate my way. And then last but certainly not least, okay, if you are on the pilled side, you can give me what's called gold pills, all right? And gold pills equate to real moolah, to real money, to clams, all right? So there you go. And that's real money that I can go and buy more Lagunitas IPA with right there. So, and I would be much appreciated, okay? All the guys in my AA sessions probably aren't going to be very happy with you. But I would be most appreciative to you right there. So enough of that. Enough of me begging you for money. If you don't have the means to do that, I mean, I know we're in the era of Kamalanomics and things are tight. Your dollar doesn't buy what it used to. Okay, that is for sure. And hey, look at this. Buttfucker 3000, the all-American Buttfucker 3000 here with the $5 Rumble rant, money for movies. What? Me? $5 for this guy right here? Well, thank you, Buttfucker 3000 right there. So absolutely. And interestingly enough, that's what we used to call my elementary school principal, Buttfucker 3000. There you go. Absolutely. So, but that's probably just because he always wore this T-shirt, that said "man candy," or "love missile," and he had the arrow pointing down towards his crotch right there. That's probably why we call him Buttfucker 3000 right there. But there you go. Gotta love it. But thank you very much for the $5. That's $1, 2, 3, 4, 5. $5 for me. And that deserves a drink right there. So this one's for you, Buttfucker 3000. No, not my elementary principal, Buttfucker 3000 in the live chat. There you go. Fuck that butt. Fuck that butt. There you go. All right. There you go. See, I mentioned Lindsey Graham earlier. That's what got that on my mind there. Anyway, let's see if I can squirm my way out of this one. Hey, that's what Lindsey Graham's like. All right, but thank you very much, Buttfucker 3000 right there. It is much appreciated, and I don't know if I've seen you here before, or maybe you haven't. You changed your name right there. If you have been in here before and I'm forgetting, 1,000 apologies. 1,000. I'm most sorry. Okay, I'm sorry to dishonor my family name. All right, so there we go. But keep joining us for the show here. I love it. All right, so what we should do right now, as we've got the otter explosion in the Rumble live chat, and I am here for it all the way right there. So absolutely, otters and Rumble. That's like tip-top currency in the Rumble world. That is for sure. And speaking of that, here, let me make sure refresh the live chat over in Pilled, because I don't want to leave anybody out over there. Now we're good to go right there. And Flip City Mag is getting a red pill, and you may be wondering, what the hell is a red pill? Well, red pill in the Pilled world is it's kind of like the like. If you like somebody's post on X, okay, the red pill is Pilled.net's version of liking. something right there, which is very cool. I like that's more of original, more original. I like Pill.net doing that. That is for sure. And Buttfucker 3000 says something that sounds a little sinister, but not. Always lurking. There you go. All right. Well, I'm glad you're lurking, especially to the tune of $5. Appreciate that. There you go. Love it. All right. So what I want to go over right now with you is Dennis Quaid, of course, stars in Reagan, okay, as Ronnie Reagan, okay. And but Dennis Quaid, as you know, has made many more movies, right? So how many many's is that? That's 1, 2, 3, 4 many's, okay? Man, made many movies. And so plenty of movies to create a top 5 list of, that's for sure. And so I'm going to bless you and tantalize you with my top 5 Dennis Quaid movies. There they are in all their glory, one at a time right there. Well, that's just the title, but all right. So I know I'm going crazy.
I'm drunk. You're drunk. Everybody's drunk.
Oh, drink them if you got them. Drink them. All right. So let's get into this top 5 Dennis Quaid movies. Okay. And before I go into them here, let me remind you that, hey, in the live chat, if you're in there, as I'm going through this, all right, feel free in the live chat if you are like, what the hell is that movie doing in your top 5? This wouldn't even be in my top 10. All right. Let me have it. Or in the live chat, let me know, hey, any Dennis Quaid movies that you feel should be in my top 5. Okay. And we'll see if they are in the top 5 right there. There's a lot of Dennis Quaid movies that just missed the cut. Just missed the cut there. Or if you're watching this later on, if you're not watching this live, you're watching this later on, let me know in the comments right there what you think of my top 5 Dennis Quaid movies, or give me your own top 5 list there and that kind of thing. So that would be fantastic if you would do that. All right, so let's get into it here. Enough of me yapping about it. Let's get to number 5, and that is The Right Stuff right there. So this is one of Dennis Quaid's earlier movies. This is the Philip Kaufman movie about the early days of the NASA space program. The Mercury 7 astronauts. This had told the story of Chuck Yeager and John Glenn and Gus Grissom and all those guys there. And then we have we've got Cooper here. So this is what's his Cooper's his last name. I forget what the character's name is that Dennis Quaid played in this. So because you know why? Because I suck. But yeah, Dennis Quaid plays one of the Mercury 7 astronauts, and he does a fantastic job. He's got one of the more brash of the astronauts. He's walking around, all cocky. Yeah, I'm an astronaut for NASA. I'm the best pilot and that kind of thing. And this has been, after he'd already made it in movies like Breaking Away and that kind of thing. But he was in this with a star-studded cast. I mean, he had Scott Glenn and Fred Ward and Sam Shepard, and who else was in this? There was Barbara Hershey was in this. Just a who's who of actors, and I think Daniel Stern was in this as well. A lot of familiar faces if you watch this movie right there. And that's a long movie. It's a very, very long movie, and it's got a lot of slow parts in it. It's a slow burn. It makes a point out of really fleshing out the personal lives of these astronauts. Okay, this is not Armageddon. Okay, this is not slam bang action explosions and mayhem. Just from wall to wall, nut to butt, mayhem, action, explosions, and asteroids, and Bruce Willis and Harry Stamper and all this shit. Right? It's not Armageddon. It's a very contemplative, emotional movie that happens to be about the Mercury 7 astronauts in the early days of NASA. But Gordon Cooper, that's his name, Gordon Cooper, is the light bulb went over my head. Okay, my senior moment ended. But Gordon Cooper is who Dennis Quaid plays in The Right Stuff. And I was going to say, well, this is a movie that really put his face in front of a lot of people. But unfortunately, The Right Stuff, as acclaimed as it is now, unfortunately made about $5 at the box office. Okay, so it's basically made the same amount that Buttfucker 3000 just gave me a few minutes ago at the movies right there. So, and then if you're like me, I didn't see The Right Stuff at the theaters, but if you're like me and a lot of people, you'll watch The Right Stuff. You're like, why the hell did I not see this in the theaters? Okay, now this movie came out when I was very, very young, so I mean, this is back when I'm picking my nose and watching Sesame Street. So probably The Right Stuff probably wouldn't have been my cup of tea back then. So, but it definitely is now. And no, I do not still pick my nose. All right, so now we're moving on to number 4. And that is In Good Company. Okay, and this is a movie that came out in 2004, and this has Dennis Quaid when he's quite a bit older than he was in The Right Stuff. The Right Stuff came out in 1983. This movie came out in 2004. And in this, Dennis Quaid, he plays like a 51-year-old like ad executive that thinks he's going to get a promotion. Okay. And as it turns out, he does not get the promotion. Topher Grace, who you see here in the picture, he gets the promotion that Dennis Quaid wanted at this ad agency, or it's a magazine or something like that. It's one of these corporate jobs, right? And so instead of Dennis Quaid getting that promotion he really wanted, they give it to 26-year-old Topher Grace in this movie. And that's kind of like the big hook to this movie is, oh, you got this 51-year-old guy, but his boss is a 26-year-old. Okay. But that's not it, everybody. So then the 26-year-old starts dating Dennis Quaid's daughter in this movie, and his daughter is played by Scarlett Johansson. So total smoke show, Scarlett Johansson. Okay, so and it's a good movie. It's a good heartwarming kind of family drama with a lighthearted comedy, and it's directed by the same guys who did. I remember the movie About a Boy with Hugh Grant in it. Okay, it's a great movie, right? It's by the way, Chris and Paul Weitz. I think just Paul Weitz directed this, but Chris and Paul Weitz, they made the American Pie movie, or at least the first one there, and then later on they got more mature and they stopped making movies about dudes like fucking apple pies on a countertop, right? So they started doing more sophisticated fare, like In Good Company. So, but that's not to say In Good Company is not a good movie. It's a good movie. It's a very good movie. And Dennis Quaid, he forgot his name there for a second. Dennis Quaid just does a great job at playing like this everyman, family man who's got a loving wife and loving kids, and he thinks like he hasn't attained what he needs to attain in the corporate world, particularly when the promotion he wants goes to a guy that's half his age, right? But then interacting and kind of being friends, so to speak, with this guy that's his boss, right? Along the way, he realizes, man, I have it better than this Topher Grace character, this guy that's my boss. I have it better. I mean, Topher Grace is pointing out to me like, he really is jealous of the family that I have. I have this loving wife, these loving daughters, and he doesn't have anything like that. He's not married, doesn't have kids, and even though he's making it in the corporate world, well, that's not anything you can come home to, right? And so it's just kind of a good, funny movie that at least part of the allegory it's trying to show you is, hey, just being corporate, being successful in the corporate world isn't everything, right? For a lot of people, having a family to go home there and tell your troubles to, or just crash on the couch with and watch a movie, or take fun vacations with, that's going to be ultimately more spiritually satisfying to you than just being the lord of the ledger, right? Okay, at some corporate job, that kind of thing. So, but Dennis Quaid just a very good, just everyman character in this, and it's got some funny moments in it. And Topher Grace is good in it as well. It's got Marge Helgenberger in it from CSI as well. Malcolm McDowell makes an appearance as this corporate bigwig at the end. So, but yeah, In Good Company, it's worth checking out. But that's the number 4 Dennis Quaid movie there. And then number 3 is Frequency. And this is a fantastic movie right there where Dennis Quaid plays another dad in this. And in this movie, so he plays this dad back in the 60s, okay? And he's using a ham radio. That's what that microphone is there. He's got this ham radio. And he's got a young son named Johnny. And he's married, and he's big. They live in Brooklyn or the Bronx or something. They're big Mets fans, right? And so in the 1960s, the New York Mets were actually good back then, and so they're Mets fans, and he's got the son. He loves his son very much, but he's a fire. Dennis Quaid is a firefighter, and he gets killed in a fire, fighting a fire there. And then fast forward to 30, 40 years later on, and you see his son Johnny is grown up and is played by Jim Caviezel. Okay, and Jim Caviezel, you guys probably best know him as Jesus. In the why am I blanking? The Passion of the Christ. I was blanking on that movie name, The Passion of the Christ. So Jim Caviezel plays the adult Johnny, Jim Caviezel as Johnny. He's grown up without a father for most of his life because Dennis Quaid's character as his father died fighting a fire, okay? And then his mother's still alive and raised him and that kind of thing. So then in the movie they have the Northern Lights, right? The Aurora Borealis happens, okay? So you get these massive sunspots are in the atmosphere, and it's causing at least their ham radio to have this magical power to connect Dennis Quaid as the father and Jim Caviezel as his adult son 40 years later to talk to each other through this ham radio. And when Dennis Quaid as his father is on the ham radio and able to make this magical contact. Well, this is before he's killed fighting this fire. Pardon me. And so, as you would imagine, this kind of high concept plot line would lend itself to some very cool and emotional moments, okay? And it definitely does that. Frequency really fleshes those out. And it's directed by Gregory Hoblet. Gregory Hoblet is most known for he's kind of like a frequent director of NYPD Blue back in the day. I think he also did he direct the movie Primal Fear with Richard Gere and Ed Norton. I think Gregory Hoblet directed that as well. But he did Frequency after he did Primal Fear, and so you've got Dennis Quaid as the father back in the 60s, and then Jim Caviezel as his son, but the grown-up son back in the 2000s, and they're talking to each other, and it's a very, very, very touching, very emotional, because Dennis Quaid's like, tell me about yourself, what's your life like, and that kind of thing, and so it just proceeds on from there, and then it turns into a murder mystery, and it's a very heartwarming movie, man. It's very touching. So check out Frequency. Very good movie. It's got Andre Braugher, who unfortunately recently died here. Andre Braugher, you probably know him. He was like the police chief on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and he was also in. He was in the movie Glory. Remember Glory with Denzel Washington and Morgan Freeman and Matthew Broderick. He played the Civil War soldier, the poor dude that Denzel Washington kept giving a hard time. He was like the uppity, snooty, black guy that lived in the same household with Matthew Broderick, and he joined with the troops. And so Denzel Washington's character would always pick on him because Andre Braugher's character in Glory was like this uppity, snooty, cultured, sophisticated, black character, and Denzel Washington's character in Glory most definitely was not that. Okay, so, but hey, Denzel Washington's character was good enough to win a Best Supporting Actor Oscar for Glory, so there is always that. So, but yeah, check out Frequency; it's very good. I think you can get it on probably at least one streaming service, if not multiple streaming services, or video on demand, or get it on hard copy. It's good enough to buy. I mean, I would buy Frequency. It's that good. I've bought it. I don't have it on 4K though. I have to remedy that. I don't know if it's even on 4K. Let me check here. I've got to know. I have got to know. Is Amazon is on Frequency on Dennis Quaid 4K? Let's see if it's on 4K here. And let's see here. Nope, it's still just on Blu-ray. Come on, man. Come on, people. Get on that right now. Let's get some Frequency on 4K, and then I will buy that shit. Okay, there we go. All right, I think we're up to number 2. Am I right, or am I right there? Yes, this is a Great Balls of Fire right there. Yeah, this is like right in the middle of Dennis Quaid's heyday. I mean, I would say that the pinnacle of Dennis Quaid's, pinnacle of his career, the height of his powers were in the late 80s. Okay, so and Great Balls of Fire, this is a movie that he got for just being like on the cusp. He's like right on the cusp of being a leading man, a grade, first rate leading man in Hollywood. And so he got the coveted role of Jerry Lee Lewis in Great Balls of Fire here. And so here he is. He's playing the killer. Okay. And this movie also had Winona Ryder, who played his 13-year-old cousin. Now, her character in this movie would say second cousin on his mother's side. I'm not his first cousin. That would be gross. Okay. But I think the really gross thing is he was like, at least in his 20s. All right. And he's married to a 13-year-old. Okay. So that made Jerry Lee Lewis very controversial. That's one of the things that made him very controversial. Plus, he knew his way around the bottom of a bottle, right? So, and so he was a wild man, okay, and he enjoyed the best of fame and fortune there. But yeah, he was a fantastic musician. He was good on the piano there, as he put it. And this is a fantastic movie with him as Jerry Lee Lewis. It's got some fun, musical numbers in it, and it mixes in some fun music in with some high drama in this. Led off by Alec Baldwin is also in this movie, and Alec Baldwin plays Jimmy Swaggart, who happens to be Jerry Lee Lewis's cousin in this one. No, not the cousin that he's banging. His cousin that is a preacher. Okay, in this case, Jimmy Swaggart. Later on, we would come to find we would come to know Jimmy Swaggart as a guy that had his own demons. Okay, am I right or am I right? Okay, so he definitely had his brushes with sin famously. So Jimmy Swaggart, that is. So he was turned out, he liked the ladies as well. He just did a very good job at hiding it up to a certain point. But Jerry Lee Lewis is portrayed very, very, very well by Dennis Quaid. Dennis Quaid just gives this I don't give a fuck charismatic performance as the killer. And him and Winona Ryder have great chemistry in this, and it's got a great soundtrack. The real Jerry Lee Lewis, he's still alive back in 1989 when this movie came out, and so he was, of course, a consultant on the movie. I remember this movie. Pardon me. This movie came out when MTV actually was still the MTV, the good MTV, where it actually still played music videos. And Great Balls of Fire and Dennis Quaid, I mean, it got a lot of play on MTV. And this movie was a phenomenon back in 1989. So Dennis Quaid was like this big, superstar back in the day. And now people would say, like, oh, he's fallen, big time from that. That's why he's got to do movies like Reagan. Okay. But he still gets good work in movies nowadays. I mean, he just doesn't get high profile movies, like a movie where he's leading the movie, right? Where he's the number one star of the movie. His name is above the title of a mainstream big budget movie. Okay. Not that Great Balls of Fire was a big budget, but it was a mainstream movie. It came out from Orion Pictures, which Orion was a relatively mainstream movie studio back then. But so yeah, he was at the height of his powers back in 1989 when this movie came out, and later on, just I mean, it was like just a few years after this, he was in the movie Let's Give Him Something to Talk About with Julia Roberts, where he played Julia Roberts' husband. He was in Postcards from the Edge the year after this with Meryl Streep and Shirley MacLaine. I mean, he was getting some big roles during this time of his career there. This is back when he was still married to Meg Ryan. Before Russell Crowe stole Meg Ryan from him there, which was kind of surreal because the other day I was watching Joe Rogan, and Joe Rogan had Russell Crowe on there, and it was like maybe 2 or 3 days after, or maybe 2 or 3 days before Russell Crowe, Dennis Quaid was on the show, and it was kind of surreal because I'm like, Dennis Quaid, you do know that the guy that stole Meg Ryan from you was just sitting in that very chair not 2-3 days ago. Okay, so but I would venture to say Dennis Quaid is probably over that, because that took that all went down back in 2001, so 23 years ago there. So and Dennis Quaid, if you look to see who he's with right now, yeah, he upgraded from Meg Ryan, that's for sure. It's good to be famous, okay, even when you're Dennis Quaid's age and you're in your 70s, okay. So and then Russell Crowe, I mean, I'm sure he could get women that would just be unimaginable in the smoke show department there. So, but anyway, so I digress about Joe Rogan and Russell Crowe and Dennis Quaid right there. So, but yeah, that's number 2. That's Great Balls of Fire. And before we get to number 1 here, I'm going to grab myself a little beverage right there. I need myself a little drinky. All right. I've made you wait long enough, everybody right there. But let me check here. I want to do a little housekeeping here. Make sure I'm not leaving anybody out with the chats and all that stuff. So it's always good right there. All right, we're good to go. All right, I got my T's crossed, my I's dotted, and it's time for number 1, and that would be Inner Space. Yes, God, man, I love this movie. Inner Space, so awesome, so cool. Okay, this is a movie that flew under the radar, unfortunately, when it came out, okay? Because it came out on the same day as Dragnet, that's what. So it came out on the same day as the Tom Hanks, Dan Aykroyd Dragnet movie and Spaceballs, okay? Remember back in the day, remember back in the 80s when movie studios made a shitload more movies than they do nowadays? And you could have 3 great movies come out on the same weekend. I'm talking about 3 great mainstream movies. I mean, this weekend that Inner Space came out, Spaceballs, Dragnet, and Inner Space. My God, what a murderer's row of movies to come out on that weekend in 1987. Okay, but unfortunately for Inner Space, it came in 3rd amongst those movies right there. And I'd say it was in large part, if not in entire part, was that how you say that? To the shitty movie poster that they had for this movie here. Let me do this. I'm gonna look this up here. I'm gonna show you this shitty ass movie poster that they used here. And I'm going to just run it by you and see if this would entice you to go see Inner Space over, Dragnet, or Spaceballs right there. So let's do this real quick here. I'm going to show you this. Let's do that. All right. And show you this. All right. Let's do that and that and that and that and that and that. And we're going to make this work right here. So check this out. Okay, so here's the poster right there. So let's get right into Inner Space right there. Let's make that bigger. Let's get right in there. All right, so here's Inner Space. So yeah, here's the poster. So would that poster make you want to go see this movie? over Spaceballs and Dragnet? Fuck no. Okay, no. That poster sucks. All right, I would not want to see it. I mean, sure, it gives you the idea of what the plot is about, and but it's got a couple of fingers and something right in between the fingers and whatnot. It's like, come on, that isn't going to help. That's not going to entice you to the theater. No one's going to go and check that out. Oh, I'm sharing the wrong screen, but you get the idea of that. So that's the poster that Joe Dante, I shouldn't say his, because a lot of times directors of movies don't have a whole lot to do with the marketing, the movie poster, and the trailers and all that stuff. So, but apparently that's what the movie studio thought that would be the poster that would just get everybody out in droves to go see this movie right there. I think was this like Paramount or Sony or something like that. I can't remember what the studio was, but who gives a fuck? Anyway, but yeah, Inner Space, great movie. But later on, though, it made a shitload of money, like on VHS, okay, because word got out about Inner Space, and a lot of people were just like, "My God, this is a great movie. You should have checked this out." And they did. They did check out this movie on VHS and later on DVD and Blu-ray. But Inner Space, what it's about is Dennis Quaid plays like this pilot. So this is this jet fighter pilot, and he's got a little problem with the drinky. Okay, he just can't lay off the booze, and I believe he's grounded. Okay, I think he's still in the Navy or something like that, but he's kind of grounded because, or maybe got dishonorably discharged, who knows, because of his drinking. But he's a fighter pilot, right? And so there's this team of scientists that are trying to perfect this miniaturization technology. Okay. And so he agrees to be the pilot, to be in this vehicle that they're going to miniaturize down to just the size of like a molecule, right? I don't know why I'm doing that with my finger. I can't illustrate that, but like the size of a molecule, very, 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 very tiny. Okay. And so, and he's willing to do it because he can't get any other job, right? Okay. He's just that desperate. And then Meg Ryan plays this on again, off again girlfriend that's just embarrassed by his drunken behavior. And then we have Martin Short, and he just plays like this nerdy guy that works at the grocery store. Well, so this terrorist group, they find out about this miniaturization technology that these scientists are trying to perfect, and they get word that they're on the cusp of completing this miniaturization technology, and this terrorist group, they have evil plans for this miniaturization technology. And so they break into the lab and they're trying to steal it. And they have a scientist that escapes and is trying to not let this miniaturization technology fall into these evil hands. And so he's got this syringe, right? And the syringe has Dennis Quaid in this molecularly, is that a word? Molecularly miniaturized vehicle that you see him in the picture. He's in this miniaturized vehicle, and it's small enough to be in this syringe, right? So the scientist is trying to escape with Dennis Quaid miniaturized, and he takes a syringe and he injects this syringe into Martin Short's ass in the middle of a mall, right? Remember shopping malls? Remember those? And so Dennis Quaid thinks like he's being injected into a rabbit, okay? And as part of this experiment, so he has no idea that him and his little miniaturized vehicle are being injected into a man, right? He didn't study up on the anatomy and the inner workings of a human body or anything like that. He studied on the inner workings of a rabbit body and all that stuff, right? So even after Dennis Quaid and his vehicle gets injected into Martin Short, well, those evil no-gooders, they are still looking for the miniaturization. They're trying to figure out, like, hey, what did that technology, like, who did that get injected to? It obviously got injected into somebody. Well, the bad guy realizes, okay, it's Martin Short that has got this technology literally in him now, okay? And so they start chasing Martin Short, and the plot just proceeds from there. But the movie's hilarious because the vehicle that Dennis Quaid is in, it's got all this cool technology that he can use on the subject that he's injected into and that kind of thing. And so he could switch faces and that kind of thing. It's all kinds of cool stuff. And I forget how Meg Ryan gets involved in this somehow with Martin Short. But anyway, but it's a fantastic movie. Dennis Quaid. His character's name is Tuck Pendleton. I like Lieutenant Tuck Pendleton. Again, like I said, he's a fighter pilot. And so once Dennis Quaid realizes he's in this man, Martin Short, then he's got to try to direct Martin Short to a scientist, to a lab, to where they can get Dennis Quaid out of Martin Short, because this vehicle that Dennis Quaid is in has got a limited amount of oxygen, right? So it's all that stuff. So it's a very funny movie. Amblin Pictures, or Amblin Entertainment, is who came out with it. So that's Steven Spielberg's production company. So this is pretty much a Steven Spielberg movie. It's directed by Joe Dante, who before this had done Gremlins, and what did he do? Oh, Explorers. Okay. Also did The Howling, was another great Joe Dante movie. And then he also did The Burbs later on, Matinee. Joe Dante is a legend. He doesn't do too much nowadays. He didn't do really too much after like the early 90s. But Joe Dante is a fantastic, great director back in the day. A lot of great actors in this. Like I said, already talked about Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan and Martin Short. But God, I just completely just went blank right there. Oh, yeah, Vernon Wells. He plays like one of the main bad guys. Remember Vernon Wells from The Road Warrior? He played like the main bad guy in Road Warrior, and he kind of reprised that same role in Weird Science. Also, he played Bennett in Commando. I'll be waiting, John. I'll be waiting. He played Bennett in Commando. So Vernon Wells plays the main bad guy in this. Kevin McCarthy. Kevin McCarthy, from Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and Twilight Zone, the movie, and many other movies that I'm forgetting. He plays like the main bad guy in Inner Space. Hilarious in this as well. What else we have in this? A lot of faces in this you'll see, and like, oh, okay, I remember that guy, and I remember that guy, I remember that girl, and I remember that. Okay, there you go. It also has a lot of adult humor, not a lot of adult humor, but it has some adult humor. It has like one thing that completely went over my head, because when I first saw this movie, I was a kid, all right? But Vernon Wells' character plays this bad guy that is missing a hand. Instead of a hand, he's got like this thing where he can attach all these attachments to it, like a corkscrew or a propane, flamethrower thing, or a drill. He just got this thing where he can just hook up all these attachments, all these accessories to his hand. And there's a scene where he's getting busy with this very, very attractive doctor character. She's a bad guy in this as well. And he's popping some champagne with this little corkscrew in there for them to get down, right? And so he takes the corkscrew attachment off of his hand, and he puts on this this vibrator thing on his hand. And of course, when I saw this, I was a kid. I was like, "Hey, what is that? I have no idea what that is." Of course, apparently, when he put that on his little hand right there, she liked it, and she gave the expression on her face that she liked it. But that completely went over my head. I had no idea what that was all about. Now, of course, when I watch it, I'm like, "Oh, that's hilarious!" All right. He's gonna use that vibrator on her, so I love it. It's hilarious. So this movie's got that kind of little bit of raunchiness to it. Meg Ryan in this is still at the peak of her hotness powers in this. Okay, so back when she was smoking hot, I think this is her next movie after she was in Top Gun. Okay, remember when she played Goose's wife, and then this is her next movie, and so she is well worth watching this movie in this. Okay, if that's a reason that you want to check out a movie. But yeah, Inner Space is a fantastic movie. It's got a great Jerry Goldsmith score to it. It's got great special effects on it as well. And it uses the special effects effectively to create some very, very funny moments in it. Oh, it's got also got Robert Picardo in it. And if that name doesn't sound familiar, just look up Robert Picardo on IMDb. You'll probably look at it like, oh, the guy from Star Trek: The Next Generation, or is it The Next Generation? He might have been in Deep Space Nine. I don't know, one of those fucking Star Trek shows. But yeah, Inner Space, check it out. But that is my number one Dennis Quaid movie of all time. It's a fantastic movie. But yeah, let me know. Let me know what you think of my top 5 Dennis Quaid movies right there. Either in the comments if you're watching me later on, okay? Or in the live chat right now if you are checking me out live right there, okay? Because let me have it. I mean, I will not get my feelings hurt. All right, I am not some little dainty flower, okay? Or I'm not delicate and sensitive like some whiny Democrat like that. The dude with the chess badger, the movie critic that didn't like Reagan earlier with the cowboy hat, the Brokeback Mountain cowboy that I had on earlier. I'm not dainty like that. I can take your insults. I can take it, man. I'm a man. I'm 40. All right, let me do a little housekeeping here and make sure that I've got everything in order. Okay, because that's how we run. That's how we run Movies Merica. Spoiler warning right here. We run a tight ship around here, ladies and gentlemen. We don't have time for dilly-dally. I mean, we don't have time for any monkey business here at Movies Merica. Spoiler warning right there. So, all right. So, just to let you guys know, because I'm sure you guys are waiting with bated breath to hear what movie that I will be spoiler-free reviewing this Sunday and then doing Movies Merica spoiler warning about next week. Well, that movie will be one Beetlejuice. Yes. After, I don't know how many decades, they decided we needed a Beetlejuice sequel. And so we're getting it. Okay. So I'm going to check out Beetlejuice, and then I will have my spoiler-free review of Beetlejuice this Sunday afternoon. That's going to be on my Movies Merica live show. And that comes on at 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Mountain, and 1 p.m. Pacific, okay? And that's going to be on YouTube and Rumble and Pilled, okay? And you'll be able to easily get access to that live episode there. If you just go to like my X page under @Movies Merica, it's a really good, easy way to get to the links to that live on this Sunday afternoon. All about Beetlejuice. And then, of course, next week, a week from tonight, Movies Merica spoiler warning will be about, guess what? Beetlejuice, all right? So I'm not going to be playing any, Harry Belafonte songs or anything like that, or, Beetlejuice, I'm the juice about the ghost with the most, right? So, the Beetlejuice. How do you say that? I'm the ghost with the most. There you go. It's apparently way too long since I've seen the original Beetlejuice. I definitely need to brush up on that here in the next day or two before I do my review of Beetlejuice. But it sounds like they're bringing back Michael Keaton and Winona Ryder and some of the other cast members there. Some of the cast members have sadly passed away. Okay, no Glenn Shaddix. He will not be able to join there. I thought Jeffrey Jones was dead, but Jeffrey Jones is still with us, but I think that he will not be in the movie either. I haven't checked because, he's pretty much Jeffrey. Let's just say Jeffrey Jones and Joe Biden like some of the same sexual things, things that you should not like there that should rightfully get you thrown in jail. Okay, there you go. So that's why I don't think Jeffrey Jones is in this Beetlejuice movie. But anyway, same bat time, same bat channel for this show next week, but with Beetlejuice there. So, all right, let me double check here. I want to make sure I am not leaving anything out there. And nope, we are good to go there. All right. So what I'm going to do here is just turn you guys on to some locations that you should definitely check out here. And the first one that I want to let you guys know about is Solo solo.to/movies Merica. That's a web page that you should definitely save as a favorite in your browser if you haven't already. And what that is that's the web page with all the links that have to do with moi here. Okay, so it has a link to my X page, my Letterboxd page, my Facebook, all the links to anything that has to do with movies Merica right there. So that's why you'd want to save it as a favorite right there, because if you don't want to hunt and peck all over the internet for all the movies Merica stuff that I have out there, just go to solo.to/movies Merica, save it as a favorite, and you have everything at your fingertips. Okay, there you go. Check that out right there. And that's a good place to go to get access to either my live episodes of Movies Merica Live and Movies Merica Spoiler Warning, or all my past episodes. You bet. All right, the next one is www.moviesmerica.com. And that's where you would go if for some reason you want to check out the audio-only versions of all my episodes right there. I don't know why you would want to go there. I mean, if you only want to check out my audio-only versions, I don't know. Maybe you might be...
I'm a dumbass.
Yeah, don't be that. But if you have to, moviesmerica.com is a location to go to for all the audio-only versions. Now, to be perfectly honest with you, when it comes to the audio-only versions of my Movies Merica Live episodes that I do on Sunday, the procrastination bug sometimes does bite me. And so, like I said, I do those episodes on Sunday, and sometimes I don't get the audio-only versions of the episodes out until like the following Friday. Okay, so like 5 days later on. Okay, so really it's better just to watch the episodes on YouTube or Rumble or Pilled. On any of those three platforms, just look up Movies Merica. Okay, and it's the Movies Merica account with all the videos you can watch. Okay, you might see a Movies Merica account out there with no videos. Obviously, that's the wrong one. You want the Movies Merica account on those platforms that has a shitload of videos for you to watch right there. But again, as far as the audio-only episodes, they're also available on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, any platform you can imagine would have podcasts on it. Okay, so enough of that. So this is about my social media presence out there. And as you see, I'm on X and Instagram under the handle of @MoviesMerica. I'm also on Gab under @MoviesMerica. I'm also on YouTube and Pilled and Rumble and Facebook, all under Movies Merica, okay? And if you haven't already, please follow me on all those platforms. And then if you DM me on X, if you get in my direct messages on X, because I don't have those turned off, I'm not that big a deal yet where I turn that off. I've got that on there. So DM me there and just let me know, hey, Van, I followed you on this platform and that platform and that platform. And then I will follow you back on those platforms, okay? Because you did me a solid. I'm going to do you a solid right there, okay? And then also feel free to forward the link to my pages on those platforms there to anybody that you like. So it's because a good way for them and yourself to get access to all my past episodes and then to the live episodes. That's for sure. Next one is tdpn.locals.com. Not going to go into that too much because I talked about that earlier there, but it's up there, tdpn.locals.com. That's our Till Death Podcast Network website with all our great content about movies and entertainment, just to name a couple of subjects there. Also, we got our merch store for the Till Death Podcast Network, which includes Movies Merica merch, okay? So, yeah, you can go down there and click on the merch store link down in the description. It's down there somewhere. Okay, down there. Trust me, it's down there. And it's like Prego. It's in there, okay? Just go down. Just go down, okay? So, anyway, I'm gonna retract that. Just get in the description and click on the merch store link down there and get yourself like a Movies Merica t-shirt or a Movies Merica shot glass or a Movies Merica phone case or something like that. Hell, even get your lady some Movies Merica, Movies Merica yoga pants. That is, unless your girlfriend is Lizzo, then please don't do that. Okay, don't do that. Okay, but yeah, the merch store grab yourself some Movies Merica merch. You might have to scroll down a little bit there once you get into the merch store to get to the Movies Merica merch, but trust me, it's there, all right? And then our next link that you should also definitely go to and save as a favorite is at Till Death Network, solo.to/Till Death Pod Network right there. And that's where you would go for all the links that have to do with anything with the Till Death Podcast Network. The Till Death Podcast Network is the network that the Movies Merica shows are on. And so as you would imagine, if you save that as a favorite, that's also another place you can save as a favorite that's going to have the links to all my Movies Merica stuff right there, okay? And then we're going to move on here. Solo.to/Till Death Studios. That's a place where you would want to go, say, if you create shows like this, if you're a content creator and you have a show like I have this Movies Merica show, or the Whiskey Capitalist podcast. That's another show here on the Till Death Podcast Network. If you have a show like that, but you think your show is a little bland, a little blah, and it needs some flair, it needs some sprucing up, and it needs some cool shit like the intros they saw earlier, or the cool movie military moment intro that you saw earlier. Okay, if you want stuff like that, then go to solo.to/Till Death Studios, and my man Ian will hook you up with that kind of flair, okay, to make your show look more professional and exciting. So he's got those skills that pay the bills and make them skills work for you as a content creator. But you've got to take the first step there, and that first step is going to solo.to/Till Death Studios. And then next is solo.to/I'm Sean Cav, and that's where you would go for all the links that have to do with my man Sean, who's also another compadre here on the Till Death Podcast Network. And he does a Sipping with Sean show that comes out at least as an X space every Friday afternoon, it sounds like. So, I think it used to be every other Friday afternoon. Now it's every Friday afternoon. And it comes on at 5:30 Eastern, 4:30 Central, 3:30 Pacific, and 2:30 or 3:30 Mountain and 2:30 Pacific, okay? And if you want easy access to that episode there or past episodes, solo.to/I'm Sean Cav is where you need to go and save that as a favorite. All right, we're making some good headway, everybody. So we got solo.to/The Whiskey Capitalist, and that's where you would want to go and save that as a favorite for all the links that have to do with that wild and wacky, crazy show called the Whiskey Capitalist Podcast. That if you have any taste, if you have any class, you check that show out let me rephrase, every Monday and Wednesday nights, okay? And then they do an episode every other Tuesday night as well. And if you're not sure what time or how to get access to it, well, you should. That's all the more reason to go to solo.to/The Whiskey Capitalist and save it as a favorite right there. And you'll have easy access to that fantastic show. All right. And then last but certainly not least is solo.to/Till Death Podcast. And that's where you would want to go as the one-stop shop website for all the links that have to do with the flagship show of the Till Death Podcast Network, the show that started it all, the Till Death Podcast. And what that show is that is a show that gives you the latest headlines, the hot button topics of the day, and funny videos. It gives you all that with some fantastic, hilarious husband and wife perspective from my man Ian and his lovely wife Jen, okay? And so if you want to hear all about that stuff, but marinated in their marital mirth, okay, go and check out the Till Death Podcast show every other Saturday afternoon. And for the exact times, go and check out solo.to/Till Death Podcast, and you will get all that very important information there for sure. But just a few websites and places you need to go right there. Okay, trust me, you will thank me for it there later on. You may be cursing my name right now for turning you on to those right now, but later on you will thank me. All right, absolutely. And let me do this here real quick. I want to see if I need to do what I call releasing the Kraken, or releasing the Scratchen. Here we go. And what that means is if anybody's live in the Pilled live chat, then I'm going to release the Scratchen, and but they need to let me know. So right now, as I'm yapping here, let me know in the Pilled.net live chat if you're still there. So at least give me a thumbs up or a, hey, I'm still alive. I'm still in here. Okay. And then that tells me whether or not I even need to bother with releasing the Scratchen and unleashing all kinds of gold pills on anybody that's in the Pilled live chat. And remember how earlier I said in the Pilled world, gold pills equate to real life money, like money that folds, like taking that money and you just making it rain. There you go. All right. But if nobody's in the live chat on the Pilled side, well, I'm not going to bother releasing the Scratchen. So you got 5 seconds to let me know if you're in there live in the live chat right there. And you've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And hey, I guess I'm not releasing any Scratchen tonight. Okay, so that's saving me some trouble there. But in saying that, hey, I just wanted to thank everybody. In closing, I just want to thank everybody for checking out this episode of Movies Merica. Spoiler warning, a Reagan episode of Movies Merica. Spoiler warning. The movie that scares the living shit out of Hollywood, okay, because it doesn't give you the demonized portrayal of Reagan. Now, it does give, an overly sanitized and overly saccharine portrayal of Reagan. Okay, it does gloss over some of his faults, but hey, what American president didn't have their faults, right? Am I right or am I right? Okay, God knows when they eventually come out with the mainstream or the major studio version or a major studio movie about Barack Obama, God knows they are going to gloss over all the multitude of fuck ups and multitude of problems that piece of shit put on this country, right? They're going to gloss over all that and make it this syrupy, sweet biopic movie about Barack Obama and his husband, Big Mike, right there. So save it, commies, right there. But and again, check me out. Follow me on all the platforms. Again, my handle is @MoviesMerica. So follow me on Pilled and Rumble and Twitter, or I'm sorry, X and Facebook and Instagram. Again, I'm on all those platforms under @MoviesMerica. YouTube, if you search for Movies Merica, that'll probably bring up at least one of my episodes, and you'll be able to find me that way. Otherwise, you can type in Till Death Podcast Network on YouTube, and that'll take you to the page with my Movies Merica videos and all that stuff. And make sure to follow and check out the videos there as well. Okay, so all right. So again, with that, I appreciate you guys joining there. And like I always say, everybody, get out there, people. Those movies aren't going to watch themselves. See ya.
Hey, everybody! Hey, don't leave yet, okay? I got the police after me, and I got just enough time to ask you to like this video and subscribe to this channel if you would. I'll be in handcuffs here pretty soon, anytime, okay? I got just enough time to ask you to also like these or watch these videos and like them as well, okay? All right? Hey, thanks for thanks for watching this video and the Till Death Podcast Network. I gotta go.